Hey, Gen Con is just days away.
I know, so much to do and so much to pack yet.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it. We still have all these cool games to talk about, though.
Well, what are you waiting for? Let's roll into it.
All right.
Welcome to WiscoDice. Hey, yo, folks, I am your host, Conzi with the Most, and I am joined today by...
Hey, I'm Suzanne.
And today we're going to wrap up our games we're excited for Gen Con series with games that we've already gotten to the table and played at some point that are on the new release list that we think you should probably check out while you're at the show if you haven't already.
Yes, these are going to be great games that, while they're maybe not debuting completely at Gen Con, they are ones we have tried out for you to know that they are great options to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these games are games that have delivered to backers, or so they are debuting for the first time. Some of them have been out for a little while, but are still listed as in the new games at releasing a Gen Con list. That's on BoardGameGeek. You can find the link to that list in the description below. And before we get into this list of games, one thing we want to do is we want to let you know what?
You should smash that like button and also click to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's a game that's not on this list that you've gotten a chance to play that's releasing at Gen Con, let us know in the comments below. We'd appreciate it.
Yes, one of those things on my to-do yet list for getting ready for Gen Con is to make the list, a final list of all the games to check out. Would love more to add to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's definitely been helpful. There's definitely been a game or two added so far in this series that are on my list now to check out as well. Yes. Now, this list is, we've learned a little bit in list making, so we've organized this list in booth number from lowest to highest, so you can just walk through the halls and explore each of these booths. So that's the order we're going to present this list today, and we're going to start with our first game on that list from Mindclash Games, that is Septima at booth 365. Now, we had a chance to play this because Justin, the Meeples champ, actually backed this copy and had a copy delivered earlier this summer at his house, and we were able to come over and play a 3-player game of it and give it a try. So it was a really cool game themed around
a witch hunt,
witch hunting, and you're playing. I think it was you were playing as witches that are trying to, trying to help the town and heal the town of plagues and diseases and whatnot. But then you're being hunted and judgment. It's a interesting but friendly kind of take on that witch hunt theme, while still putting more of a positive spin on the witches, and it was fun. We really enjoyed it.
It was definitely a good game.
I think we all wanted to play it again afterwards. Once we started really getting the mechanisms, it's got a lot of kind of rich complexity to it without being an over complex game.
There's a lot. Yeah, it's a deep, like you can dig into this game and what's going on and what you need to do to master it. So
and there was plenty of extra expansion content that he had because he was a backer. So that is Septima from Mindclash Games at booth 365.
All right. After that, we're going to head over to booth 403 for AEG Games. And one that they have there that I backed is Let's Go to Japan. So this is part of their Let's Go series. And you are making a travel itinerary in Japan between two of the major cities. And you are dealt a stack of cards, some from each city. And then you put what you want down in your itinerary and pass the remainder on to one of your neighbors. And then from that, you are placing them and trying to build an itinerary that is peaceful, or make sure that you hit foods or tourist spots, not tourist traps necessarily, but tourist spots and everything. And one of the spots is a game store. So you can really make your game and your travel itinerary as themed as you want, which is what I've had fun doing with it when I've played it. It's a nice game Lots of great graphics in it and everything. So you haven't played it yet.
No, I didn't get a chance to play it.
We will get it to table for you. So,
but it sounded like when you guys were playing it, it sounded like you were having so much fun, and everybody was laughing and having a great time. And some of the components, because you were a backer, you got like upgraded component dishes and the neoprene. It's a neoprene mat. I have the neoprene mats too, and stuff. So I'm not sure what all is going to be at AEG for extra upgrades, but this might be a chance if you're interested in this game to check out and/or pick up some of those really cool upgrades. Because I'll tell you, like, just the component bowls alone are worth picking up to have. They're like ceramic dishes, but with the logo of the game and whatnot on, just very thematic to the Let's Go Japan or go to the Japan kind of idea. Or they're trying to play off of that. So, yeah, check it out.
Yes, so that is Let's Go to Japan from AEG at booth 403.
So next up on the list is a game that we saw at Con of the North and immediately had to pick up. We left we left the booth and then we talked about it. And we're like, we just couldn't stop talking about it. And that is Skyrockets Festival of Fire from Floodgate Games at booth 439. So in Skyrockets, it's a cooperative game. You're trying to put off the best possible fireworks display, but you have to set off certain fireworks. Is it in certain orders, I think?
So with it's little real timers? Time.
Yeah, it's real time. Those timers are so stressful.
And they're all different amounts of time. Yeah. And you're playing a card, depending on what card you play. The red one is evil. You have to flip the corresponding timers so that they don't run out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they run out, then you guys are losing.
Yeah, if you run out, then you get like 2 or 3 of them you can run out, and then when your third one runs out, it's over. Game over. You lost.
So it's chaotic. It's as chaotic as it sounds. It's this fireworks show that is just going off, and they have different challenges. So that every time you play your game, you can work through the difficulty of the challenges and kind of keep going up. And that's definitely fun. So you can play as many or as few as you want to.
Yeah, it's really challenging. There is no time to really like kind of think. It's just it's a cacophony of everybody yelling, "Hey, can you play a red next? I don't have a red, but the timer's gonna time up." Blah, blah, blah. It's crazy fun. It plays fast, and it's easy to play 2-3 games of it in a row and not have the same experience twice.
Right.
It was a real challenge for us to win the first time too.
Oh my gosh, yes. And you kind of have, like, you almost need to play it once to understand how the timers work and what you need to be looking at and paying attention and how you need to communicate with each
absolutely.
other.
It's so crazy.
Yes.
So anyways, that is Skyrockets Festivals of Fire from Floodgate Games at booth 439. Go check it out.
Yes. So, next up, we have a couple that are actually from our friends over at Thunderworks Games.
Yeah, local Madison publisher.
Yeah, they've had some great games that have come out, and their newest one, Cones. You wanted to tell them about that newest one? That so
sure.
Awesome.
So we actually had a chance to have an interview with the designer for this game as well on our podcast. Link somewhere up there, and that is going to be Metrorunner. And Thunderworks Games, by the way, is at booth 1363 for those of you that don't know. So Metrorunner is a really cool cyberpunk, first game in their cyberpunk universe. Hopefully we'll get to see more because it's so bright and colorful and just kind of a different
from the role player
from
universe.
the role player, the Ulos universe.
Completely different.
Big thing is basically the game is a giant rondel with some fairly straightforward actions. Nothing overly complex in what you're doing. You're just going to move your player marker on your turn 1 to 2 spots. You could push it more. There's some bonus actions you can buy, et cetera, as you earn things. And then, but the big thing is in the center of the map, there is a set of 9 tiles that you can basically become the hacking grid. With a hacking action, you can rearrange those tiles to try to create patterns that will earn you bonus rewards when you take that action. And you can unlock advanced hacking to increase your reward possibilities throughout the game. But it is definitely the part of the game that everybody stops and really wants to do. The other thing with that is while you're at Thunderworks, we absolutely recommend you pick up the metal tiles.
Oh
they
my
look
gosh, that's
so
awesome.
much better
And
than
the
the
cardboard
ones that
are,
come in the
they're
game.
fine. The cardboard ones are fine if you can't afford to
Well,
get them or don't want to.
and the great thing is then with both components, you have the metal ones, which look really cool and blingy on the board, but now you have 9 of the exact same tiles that if somebody's like trying to figure out how to solve it, because we see this happen all the time, somebody's sitting there, they can't just quite visualize it. They need to have something to play with. Instead of having take backsies on your game board, they can sit there and play with the tiles and make it look what the board is, and then move things around, and then reset it if they need to exactly what it is before they monkey with anything. Because I don't know about you, but I've definitely had times where I went to hack and then I couldn't remember exactly how it was, and everybody at the table's like trying to go, oh, reset it this way or that way.
Yeah.
And it is definitely one of those kind of things where it's a tactile puzzle, and it's nice to be able to have something that's set as a reset and go back. So we really recommend them, and they're just awesome looking.
Or for expert level, you just say nope, you don't touch it, and no take backsies if you want to be.
I'm doomed. Then I need to be able to rearrange it.
Yeah, and this one also has a fun solo mode too.
Yeah, well, all the Thunderworks games have a great solo mode.
They do, but I've played this one and the next one in solo mode, and I've enjoyed them. So.
Well, first that is Thunderworks. That is Metrorunner from Thunderworks Games at booth 1363. Why don't you tell us about the other Thunderworks title that we're really psyched about?
So the other one is in their big Ulos universe, Stonespine Architects, and on this one you are drafting cards to build a maze,
a
cavern
dungeon.
maze, a dungeon.
You're building a dungeon. You're building it. You're a fantasy dungeon. Like architect for building bad guy dungeons.
Yep, and there's paths in there that you need to make sure they can connect. If you want to score more points, you need to have different elements in different rooms, different materials as catchers. Yep. Yeah. So there's common goals and there's solo goals or individual goals, I guess you'd call it, and lots of different ways to score points throughout the game and at the end of the game. And it's one that plays fairly quickly. And so a lot of times people want to play it twice when we get it out, at least twice. And it's a lot more engaging than you think it's going to be when you first see it on there. There's hate drafting. If you like hate drafting, you can totally do this in this game, but it's not required.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say this is a classic card drafting mechanic where you're drafting those cards. And I think you called that out. But yes, that drafting mechanic, it keeps it fast because you only really have 4 rounds of drafting. You're only drafting 4 cards
each round.
You're going to go through a bit of like income and scoring and improvements. So sometimes you're able to buy things that weren't printed on your cards to be able to upgrade cards to help you meet the patterns and whatnot. There's a lot of little feels, if you're familiar with the Ulos games, to how scoring and things like that work. But the matching the pattern puzzle in this is a game that I really enjoy playing, but I struggle at getting the patterns to work out by the end. So, but I absolutely love this game.
It's so fun, even if you lose.
Even if I lose, and it's going to be paired in the upcoming new game that just finished on Kickstarter. Skulls. Emerald Skulls. You're going to be able to get in the future a big 2-player box that two game box where you can put both of these games in that same box, which is going to be really cool.
Yes, yep, that'll be great. And so once again, please stop by Thunderworks Games at booth 1363 and check these out. We both think that you'll either love one or both of these games.
Yep, very likely. So Avant Carde from Resonym at booth 1913 is another game that you happen to back.
I backed.
But I happen to end up kind of helping learn this, and you haven't had a chance to play at a recent game night that we had at Misty Mountain Games here in Madison, Wisconsin. So in Avant Carde, it's trying to remember exactly how it worked. It was it's a deck builder where you're kind of playing off of modern art. And your goal is like you play cards out of your hand that are either matching numbers or the same color. And you have going from lowest to highest. So you play as many cards as you can, and if you manage to play more than 6 cards, then you're able to start scoring points. And there's like a little deck of cards that basically track the points, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. There's some other little things, like if you match, like if you have the most, if you played the most 2s in the round, then you might get an extra bonus. Or if you played a 3 during the market phase, you might get a bonus. Whatever, the different numbered cards all do different things. You can change up the bonuses. It's a fairly simultaneous play, so it works really well. Plays really fast. It took us a little bit to kind of dissect the rules, but I think that's more we were all kind of learning it on the fly, and there's nothing. I find nothing worse than trying to figure out how to play a game when you have 5 people sitting at the table trying to play.
Right, in an environment that's not as conducive, just sitting and studying rules quietly. It was it's a busy game store.
But we had a lot of. But I think everybody had a lot of fun once they kind of got the gist of it. Everybody was having a lot of fun playing it. It took about an hour of actual gameplay to get done, and I think that was still partially because there were still some rules lookups and stuff. So, really cool game. We do recommend you check out Resonym. We're actually a fan of a lot of the games that they produce, anyways. In fact, while you're there, make sure you check out Phantom Inc. and Phantom Inc. Arcana. They're both at that same booth, but that is Avant Carde from Resonym at booth 1913.
All right, we're going to skip a few aisles over and go to booth 2909, which is the Eagle-Gryphon games over there. They have Inventions, Evolutions of Ideas, and this is a game we own. We have opened it, punched it, and I've read all but like 2 pages of the rules. So this isn't a different one than the rest, and we have not actually played it. It's an intense game. There's this is a Vital Lacerda game.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with games like Kanban or On Mars, this is the latest Lacerda game to hit retail. And I believe if it hasn't actually been out in retail and available just before Gen Con, it will be hitting retail just after.
But it's going to be cool. Like, to actually get it on the table, like, you're taking this idea and you're moving it through from idea, conception, all the way to creating it. And you're working with, but also against the other players to bring this stuff, like, to, make it show up and make it actually happen. So I think it's going to have great table presence to look at and just see all the components out there. It's not going to be a game that you sit down and read the rules in 5 minutes and teach everyone else how to play and then have it done within an hour.
Well, welcome to a Lacerda game.
But I love games like this, and those of you that are looking for a more intense, like,
this is going to be a
great one to check
crunchy out. Euro mechanic game where it's certainly, you need to definitely understand the rules and expect that it's a deeper, longer play, but I find that all the Lacerda games that I've played are very rewarding gameplay.
Yes.
Very fun to play once you get into the mechanisms and understanding the iconography and getting into the game. So, yeah, check this out. We're really happy to have it in our collection, and knock on wood, sometime post Gen Con, we're going to be able to get it on the table.
Oh, it will. It will get on the table. I'm ready to teach Conzi how to play it. So, if this sounds intriguing to you, stop by Eagle-Gryphon Games at booth 2909 and check out Inventions, Evolutions of Ideas.
All right, our final game that we have in our collection that is marked in the list of releasing at Gen Con. This one I think has been available at least to order through Paverson Games for a while now, and that is Distilled Cask Strength. You can find it at booth 2151. There will be a number of other upgrades for Distilled at the booth that you can typically only get at conventions. Things like the metal coins, I think I saw just earlier today that you can get, or you could order them direct when you order this expansion as well. Distilled Cask Strength is a very small box. It's just a pack of cards, really. It's all it is. Changes out the premium ingredients that come with the base game, and adds a couple other interesting features and a few more cards for the item and the
Upgrades?
Yeah, the upgrades
Yeah,
deck.
the distillery upgrades, yes.
And then it adds like some fluctuating market stuff that fluctuates like how much the market's demanding things like the grain spirits versus fruit spirits, so to speak, so that you might get more money for one or the other because there's more market demand each round.
All these changes, tiny little box.
Tiny little box. Big change without really changing the overall game mechanics and how Distilled works.
Yep.
Which is really nice. And honestly, I don't want to play Distilled without having these cards in now. Like I probably will, just for like, because there's still a lot of people learning how to play.
Everyone else is brand new to the game except for the two of us. I won't put them in unless they really have seen it and have a really good idea of how to play it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely, I think, if you like Distilled and you're trying to evaluate which expansions to get, I would tell you to get them all, because the Middle East and Africa expansion adds a bunch of extra cool stuff and more cards. And then this expansion just changes up the gameplay subtly, so subtly, but so well. So while you're there, you can also check out Luthier, but that is Distilled Cask Strength from Paverson Games at booth 2151. And that, I think, gets us through our list of games today that we were going to talk about, that we've got. There were a few other games that we've played that I don't think we didn't quite make the list. Just
some of them I only played online, and so I didn't,
we haven't had a chance to play with the physical components.
Yeah, so it's it's definitely different that way.
And there were a couple of games that I think we think are good games, but they just didn't make the list for one reason or the other. Anyways, let us know in the comments if you've played any of the games that are showing up on the list for Gen Con, and if you have, what you thought of them, and if they're games that you think people should check out. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Hey there, it's Conesy. Thank you so much for watching. We put out videos weekly here at WiscoDice. Check out our channel for more great videos, and don't forget to subscribe. We also have more great content on our website at WiscoDice.com. Of course, we do this all for you, the viewers, so please like the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.